and we've discussed the classics, horses who might make a splash in more immediate weeks. And with that in mind, we're now going to get the view from Ireland from our correspondent Donn McLean. Donn, thanks for joining us.
No problem, Nick. Good to talk to you.
Most every horse that we seem to be teeing up is trained your side of the RSC, and it's not just Aidan O'Brien who has a strong classic hand this time round.
Yeah, it's exciting this time of year. It always is. The flat season kind of happens upon us quite quickly after the National Hunt season has started to go into its final embers. But yeah, Aidan O'Brien seems to have a very, very strong team again, as is his wont. But as you say, with Jim Bulger and David Watchman and John Ox and even Ger Lyons weighing in as well, it's shaping up to be an exciting year, all right, all going well.
OK, let's talk about the Ballydoyle pecking order, if we might. We've just been talking about the 1,000 guineas. Are you clear in your own mind, Don, that maybe is definitely the senior filly, if you like, in Ballydoyle?
I suppose that's the sense we've been getting, Nick, and she's unbeaten, so it's very difficult to argue with that. She's won a Group 3, a Group 2, a Group 1, including the Moyglaire Stakes, which is often the quintessential pointer to the following year's Fillies Classics from this side of the RSC. But I really liked Wading last year. I thought her final run when she beat Pimpernel was really, really good in the Rockfell Stakes. And the Rockfell Stakes, that has become, I think in recent years, it's become a stronger pointer, hasn't it, from an English perspective as to the following year's Classics. But she did that so well, and the time was really good, and Pimpernel went out and franked the form next time. So I just personally, you know, like with all of these 2-year-olds, you generally form an impression of them when you see the race first time, and she was the one that got me in it. She was the one who kind of just caught me with a view to looking ahead to next year. And then with her breeding, like you couldn't get a better bred filly than her. She's from the family of all those. She's on the family that is all the talk in recent years. The Urban Sea, Black Sound Bellamy, See the Stars, all of those, Galileo. So with that in her pedigree and all the potential that brings, I think she's very, very exciting.
Yeah, I think the same visceral feeling is shared around the table. As regards the colts, it's a slightly more complex picture in a sense, Don, because we're not actually sure whether Camelot's going to run in the Guineas. What's your understanding?
No, well, I didn't think he would, actually. I thought at the end of last season he was campaigning exclusively over a mile last year. He won the Racing Post Trophy in a staying manner, even though they didn't go a great gallop, and the manner in which he settled, that was a positive, I thought, for going the shorter trips next year, as in this year. I just thought that he was shaping like a stamina horse. He's probably bred more for stamina than for speed. And they had, I thought Power might have emerged as their main Guineas horse, but he had a little bit of a setback, as we know, during the winter. So
he wasn't the soundest horse last year, was he, Power? Remember when Ryan Moore reported that he wasn't entirely sound before the Coventry, and he still won it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was the horse that I liked a lot last year, and again he progressed through the year, and he finished up a win in the National Stakes. So before he got beaten in the Dewhurst, when he probably didn't have the run of the race, but I think he had a little bit of a setback. So there has to be a small question mark about him as well. But you know, maybe now that's the way it's falling for Camelot. Maybe he is going to be the Guineas horse. I suppose the memories of St Nicholas Abbey, when he was thought to be a middle distance colt, and they prepared him for the Guineas, and he disappointed in the Guineas, and he's had to make up for last time, which he is, or for lost time, which he is. Maybe that was fresh in the memory. But I suppose the fact that Camelot didn't run in the Ballysack Stakes yesterday is another pointer towards the fact that he might run in the Guineas. But I think a decision is fairly imminent, isn't it? I think Aidan said a few weeks ago that he'd be making a decision around about now, so hopefully we'll have a decision in the next couple of days.
You must be itching to have a bet in the 2,000 Guineas. If you don't think Camelot's going to run, you're worried about whether Power will make it. Nephrite had a verdict over Born to Sea last year, but we're not quite sure whether Born to Sea was at his best that day. We've still got a possibility of Akeed Mafid going there, but there must be a bet from Ireland that interests you.
Yeah, I don't think Akeed Mafid is going to go, is he? I think John Ox did say that he was going to miss it. So I think we can rule him out. Born to Sea, as you say, is very interesting. We keep coming back to this family again, don't we? Yeah, you're right. I don't think he was at his best last year when Nefrite beat him. That said, Nefrite did it well, but he's bipivotal and he probably handled the easy ground at Leopardstown that day better than Born to See had. John Ox said afterwards that he just couldn't use the turn of foot or the pace that we know he has, and he seems to be bang on track for the Guineas. So, you know, he's really, really interesting and racing in those yellow colours of Christopher Choi. He's going to attract lots of attention as he did last year. But I think the fact that Akid Mufid has been more or less ruled out of the Guineas, he's going to be the one from the John Ox yard.
Let's talk about some of the older horses, Don, and a fascinating switch, Marco Botti to Aidan O'Brien, ex-Celebration. Any idea how this horse has been working as he bids to improve on last year's wonderfully creditable efforts behind Frankel?
Yeah, no, he's a hugely exciting recruit. I think an excellent heart. He was another recruit that Aidan got from another yard as well. No, I haven't heard how he's been working or what his plans are, Nick. But again, you can be sure that he's going to be targeted at the top races, the top probably mile to middle distance races. What
would be an obvious starting point for him? Do you think he'll start in the Lockinge?
He could do. There's the Moorbridge Stakes as well, which is over 10 furlongs. Aidan it's a race that he tends to like to win or run his best horses in. That's a possibility as well. But no, it'd be great to see him in the Lockinge. It'd be great to see him going over and starting off in the UK, yeah.
Do you think we'll see, so you think again, there's talk of his Australian stud career having to commence midway through this year. Is it worth running him again?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think he has until the eclipse, doesn't he, before he has to go into quarantine to go to Australia. So he could have a similar programme to last year when he won the Moorsbridge and then he won the Talisman's Gold Cup.
Is he ever going to produce the sort of performance that we've been wanting from him?
I think there's every chance. You have to make excuses for his Breeders' Cup run, which I think you can. You have to make excuses for his Dubai World Cup run, which I think you can as well on the surface. But yeah, he's probably, you know, he's a horse that much was expected of him last year, as we know. He probably didn't reach the dizzy heights that were anticipated, but at the same time, he was a multiple Group 1 winner last year. And I thought he ran a cracker in the Arc as well when he did really, really well from his outside draw. And then beaten by Circe des Aigles only just in the Champion Stakes. We know now that was probably a much better run than we thought it was at the time. So he's still a top class horse. And I'd say we'll see him at least, you know, a couple of times, all going well between now and the time that he has to go to Australia.
And what about a horse that's going to move forward significantly from Ireland, Don? We all know about the horses that have done well and the horses we've been discussing so far on the programme, but what for you is the horse that's got most potential to improve and really take us by surprise, be it in Ballydoyle or outside? Yeah,
there's a couple, Nick. I think Ernest Hemingway, he won really well at Dundalk there just on Friday night. He's been talked of as a possible Derby horse. He didn't beat a huge amount. It was only a maiden and it was Dundalk, but he did it really, really well from the front and he clocked a pretty good time in doing that. And then you've got Sharistan, who I thought was unlucky yesterday, John Ox's horse, who won the Irish Lincoln on his debut this year. And he got a little bit out of pace, I thought, going around the home turn yesterday in the listed race at Leopardstown. And Famous Name just got first run on him, and then he got into a wee bit of traffic and finished really well to just go down by a head to Famous Name, who's a top-class horse, even though he's not a Group 1 winner yet. I think he's going to improve as well. And then you've got Sadler's Rock, John Ox's horse, who did so well last year as a 3-year-old in those staying races. He's probably going to be trained for the Ascot Gold Cup this year, and he's really exciting. He's lightly raced. He loves top of the ground, and the step up to 2.5 miles is probably going to be in his favour. We saw how well he stayed the 2.25 miles of the Doncaster Cup, and he's a hugely exciting horse, a staying horse, I think, as well for this season.
So Ernest Hemingway, Sharazan, Sadler's Rock.
That would do it.
3 horses to follow for you, Don. Thank you very much indeed for your company.
Thanks, Nick.
Donn McLean, our Irish expert here on Racing UK.